Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusa.
Join us this Christmas as we bring smiles to Chaka 2 refugees. Pan-African Pyramid is collecting relief items like clothes, foodstuff, Medicare, scholastic materials, sports equipment, and many others to be delivered to Chaka 2 refugee settlement camp on the 19th December 2023. You too can join this noble cause now through donations and partnerships. For pickups, call us on 0783 611 516 and 0702 58 4274. Our chief guest is the United Nations Peace Mission Ambassador Paul, flying from Bulgaria. Powered by NBS Television, Fairway Hotel, Gro Foundation, Satellite Hotel Chisasi, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG. Africa, don't agonize, organize.
Comrades, welcome to a very brief press briefing. The intention is just one. Number one is to officially welcome and receive our chief guest for this year's project for Chaka 2 Xmas with the Refugees project. So we decided to go to Chaka 2 refugee camp in Chegebo district, and there are 163 refugees in Chaka 2 refugee camp. 163 from about 9 countries. So you can imagine the problems there, different cultures, different traditions, different languages, different everything. And the last time I was there, I was told by the commandant that out of 163,000 refugees, 60% are young people, the youth and children, and about 25% are women, and men constitute about 15%. So the biggest number of vulnerable people in that refugee camp are the children and women. So our partner from Bulgaria and Germany, Peace Ambassador and CEO of Gro Foundation, Ambassador Paul Flynn, is also our member and is a recipient of the Pan-African Pyramid Global Award 2023 as an international environmentalist. That's why he has come here. One of the major activities we're going to do in the refugee camp is to plant trees. He has an agenda of planting 550 million trees in Uganda by 2030. I am talking about 550 million trees. His organization is funding that project. But then he has also an agenda of planting 1 billion trees globally. 1 billion trees globally, 550 million trees in Uganda. And so the trip to Chaka refugees is the start of that long journey. And so as a coordinator of this project, as a speaker of the Pan-African Pyramid, I would like to first of all pass my greatest gratitude to you, Comrade Ambassador Paul Flynn, for having accepted our invitation.
Thank you. Thank you very much for welcoming me here. I'm part of the diaspora. I'm Ugandan Irish, born in Germany. I've lived all around the world, but Uganda is my home. And there's many people from around the world who want to come back and bring knowledge back home, to bring wealth to communities and give back what they've learned. Gro, as you said, is on a mission to plant 1 billion trees globally. We do this in Latin America, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Southeast Asia primarily. But more importantly, it is our vision to use climate finance to uplift vulnerable communities out of poverty forever. And your annual aid to refugee camps is a beautiful example of how climate finance can change the lives of communities. During this visit, we'll bring relief aid. We will be planting symbolically several hundred trees. But this is the beginning of an introduction and a long-term relationship with this community. We want to commit to plant and fund 1 million trees with this community, and then use climate finance to bring long-term income to this community. And we start with good faith. So on day one, we'll be pledging $25,000 worth of solar equipment, for example. This can be used for rural electrification, it can be used for skill centers, it can be used for livelihood projects. At the end of the day, we don't come as charity, we come as climate finance to work with a vulnerable community to help us plant these trees and then benefit from the wealth and the income that this generates. So symbolic tree planting, rural electrification, but this will continue to become food security, water security, and long-term funding for livelihood projects. That is the key to uplifting communities out of poverty forever. I'm Paul Flynn of the Gro Foundation. Very, very proud to be a member of the Pan-African Society. On Tuesday next week, we're going to be visiting Chaka refugee camp. We're here to flag off the relief items and then also pledge to bring rural electrification in the value of $25,000 to the community, as well as start with ceremonial tree planting and make that the start to plant 1 million trees with the community. Let's get this done.
Okay, thank you.
Join us this Christmas as we bring smiles to Chaka 2 refugees. Pan-African Pyramid is collecting relief items like clothes, foodstuff, Medicare, scholastic materials, sports equipment, and many others to be delivered to Chaka 2 refugee settlement camp on the 19th December 2023. You too can join this noble cause now through donations and partnerships. For pickups, call us on 0783 611 516 and 0702 58 4274. Our chief guest is the United Nations Peace Mission Ambassador Paul Flynn from Bulgaria. Powered by NBS Television, Fairway Hotel, Gro Foundation, Satellite Hotel Chisasi, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG. Africa, don't agonize, organize.
Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Pan-African Pyramid Show that happens every Friday. And tonight we are going to talk about environmentalism. I've got our chief guest for the tree planting exercise in the Chaka 2 refugee settlement for 19th of December. And this gentleman is actually a recipient of a Pan-African Global Award this August. And we awarded him not for any other thing, but we awarded him because he's an activist for environmental conservation. His name is Ambassador Paul Flynn from Germany, born of Ireland, and right now living in Bulgaria. I hope I'm correct on that.
That's indeed correct, yes. It's an honor to be here.
Ambassador Paul is the CEO of Gro Foundation. Now that's an organization that is purposely formed to support the initiatives, the fight against environmental destruction. And so they are actually injecting a lot of billions of money in US dollars to ensure that there is support for environmental conservation. And there is also this talk about carbon emissions. Now, carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas, has become a major concern as climate change becomes a bigger issue. The top 5 carbon emission producing nations by 2021 were actually China, United States, India, Russia, and Germany. The concentration of carbon dioxide has especially increased as a result of the Industrial Revolution and exponential growth in manufacturing activities around the world. Deforestation, agriculture, and fossil fuel use are the primary sources of carbon emissions. According to the most recent data from the Global Carbon Atlas, the top 5 countries that have produced in aggregate the most carbon since the Industrial Revolution are the United States, the China, Russia, Germany, and UK, United Kingdom. Mr. Paul Flynn.
Yes.
First of all, we want to welcome you officially in Uganda.
Thank you.
How has been the journey?
It was a very, very long journey. I actually been traveling for several weeks. So I actually came here after having attended the Global Climate Conference, COP28, in Dubai. So I was meeting different stakeholders within the entire reforestation and carbon compliance market, and various representatives of governments. And then my next stop was here.
Thank you. Now, First tell me, you are a UN Peace Ambassador in charge of East Africa. What does this entail?
Okay. The UN is a huge organization, and I'm part of a very small specialist department. So it's big to say United Nations it's United Nations Peacekeeping Federal Council. They, like Gro, are focused on social impact and peace initiatives. So they do post-conflict resolution, and they try to also enter communities to prevent conflict to break out. So supporting refugee camps, supporting crisis management is a big part of their activities. And I'm very, very proud to be representing them into East Africa as they're building out organizations. Uganda itself is home to many refugee camps. This is true across many sub-Saharan countries.
Actually, Uganda is the biggest host of refugees.
Yes, I'm aware.
In Africa, about 1.7 million refugees are here.
Yes.
And the camp which you are visiting on 19th, Tuesday, this week, next week, hosts about 163,000 refugees. And these are from they speak about many languages, from about 9 countries in Africa. And so you see, a mixture of those 9 countries brings about so many challenges, socially, economical, and otherwise.
Yes.
And then when I was there, they also told me that of 163,000 people, refugees, about 60% are children and youth.
Yes.
And then about 25% are women, and men only make about 15%. So it shows you that the most vulnerable groups are the young children and women. And so you are coming to join this this campaign is very welcome for me and the entire country. But let's take it up from there. I want you to tell us a little bit about what is Gro Foundation.
Thank you. So the Gro Foundation is a social impact organization, and we're dedicated to use climate finance to raise, at a grassroots level, raise communities out of poverty forever.
Is there a mechanism you can use to raise people out of poverty forever?
Yes and no. Indeed there is. If you use climate finance the right way. I'll go back to your introduction. You said, which is true, the biggest polluters in the world are five
countries.
Yeah,
and all of them
China, United States, the European countries.
Yes.
That is very, very true. But climate change is a global topic. And one aspect of mitigating climate change is reforestation. It's one of many ways, of many things that need to be done.
Replanting
replanting trees, exactly. So statistics, the Earth has lost about half of all its trees since the Industrial Revolution, over the last few thousand years before that. Uganda has lost nearly 30% of its tree cover just in the last 30 years. Every year, 15 billion trees are cut down. 15 billion trees are cut down, and 5 billion trees are replanted. Now
they cut 15, they plant 5.
Yes.
Now you're talking about global. That's global.
This is a global number. Yes. Okay. So right now, globally, we're losing 10 billion trees every year. Now, but even the 5 billion that are planted, they're not natural biodiversity. We're losing natural biodiversity, and we're replacing it with fast-growing woods, commercial woods. These are dead forests. There's no life in them. There's no biodiversity. There are no animals. So in fact, those 5 billion trees we're also losing. It just makes it seem a bit slower. So when you look at the Mabira forest...
So you cut the natural forest, then you plant eucalyptus.
For example.
But eucalyptus cannot be a habitat for the other life.
Exactly.
The animals, the birds, and so on.
Exactly. So the entire ecosystem.
And you're planting today, after 5 years you cut, because you're planting for sale.
Yes. And then people move on. So here in Uganda, the Mabira forest is a great example for that. 90% has been lost. You still see many trees, but they're commercial crop trees, what you see. Which means
90% of Mabira has been
90% of Mabira forest has been lost.
Are you serious?
I am serious. And the question is now, Uganda has a plan to plant 6 billion trees in the next 10 years. But I want to tie it down to grassroots communities. I'm not a politician. My goal is not to change
Neither
climate.
am I bringing you here as a politician.
Oh God, no,
This
not
is
at all.
Pan-Africanism.
Not at all. Exactly. And Pan-Africanism is about bringing communities together and enriching those communities. And this is, I go back to what I said. Our goal is to uplift communities out of poverty forever. Now, how do you do that?
Huh?
And climate finance is, understanding climate finance and the carbon markets is an amazing opportunity for this. Because right now we have a global problem, and sub-Saharan Africa, Uganda being a key in this, is one of the few places in the world where you can plant billions and billions of trees. And this right now, climate finance creates an opportunity that Muzungus, European, Western, the big polluters in the world, they will pay for this solution to the global problem to be created. They know that they created it. They're the ones who now have to buy something called carbon certificates. You hear about it everywhere right now. Carbon certificates just mean that they produce 1 ton of CO2 emissions. We plant enough trees to take 1 ton of CO2 emissions out of the air. So they put up 1 ton, we removed 1 ton, and that creates balance. +1, -1. Now they pay for this. And I want to combine this with another thing, with another statistic that is important to know. Climate finance is an opportunity for Africa at a grassroots level, for Africans at a grassroots level, to take control of their own future. They have something that the West needs and is willing to pay for if they learn how to do the compliance and the paperwork right. In terms of investment, how is Uganda set up today? Everybody is waiting as a beneficiary. Everybody is waiting for the World Bank or an NGO, a charity, to give them money, a grant. A grant is not sustainable. It might come today, it might not come tomorrow. Planting trees and turning it into carbon certificates means, though, you're creating a product. Only 1.5% of global investments go into Africa. Only 1.5% of global investments go into Africa. Which means when the world is thinking of where to invest our money, Africa is at the bottom of that
Africa
list
simply gets 1.5%
of global investments. It's all of Africa. And this is what people then are fighting about. I want this grant, I want that grant. What I'm saying is, let's not ask for grants. Africa is rich. Uganda is rich. Mineral resources.
But you're saying Africa is rich. You guys in Europe are saying Uganda and Africa are third world countries.
Yes, but I am here as a Ugandan Irishman. My mother's Ugandan, my father's Irish. I was born in Germany. I am part of the diaspora, and I'm coming back to teach. Uganda doesn't need to beg. Uganda has minerals. Uganda has fruit. Uganda has
which
timber
you're
to export.
exploiting, which you are stealing.
And you're letting it happen. And I am here to teach how to change that.
You are telling right now.
Yes.
You are telling me
Yes.
that Uganda and Africa is rich.
Yes.
But then on the other day, you our own brothers from the other side are saying Africa is third world. They are very poor. Actually, we need grants, we need donations, we need everything.
No, I didn't say that. And this is something, it's an attitude. People say it, and then people believe it. I am saying Africa is rich. You have the mineral wealth that people are paying billions for. But that's a complicated issue. I'll take it back down to trees and climate finance. That's a simple issue. Uganda, just to explain, when I say it's rich, the forests that are here, in terms of climate finance, are a resource. You don't sell the trees, you don't sell the land. Think of carbon certificates as a fruit that is created by these trees. Think of it as a fruit. Don't sell the tree, don't sell the land. Sell the fruit and let somebody pay for it. Now, you're not a beneficiary. It's not a grant. It's not charity. It's a product that you're selling. What Uganda and the rest of Africa needs to learn is to take control of its resources, learn how to create products that are valued on a global market, and then sell it.
So, Mr. Paul,
Yes.
first take us through.
Yes.
How do I extract importance from selling the carbon certificate? How does that? What's the process? How do I do that?
Okay.
Because you're saying don't sell the tree, don't sell the land, but I can benefit from the tree
Yes.
by selling
carbon certificate.
Yes.
I want to let the local person understand how that works.
Okay. I'm proud to look at Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, all African countries that are creating legislation. I'm offering, and I'm already talking to several governments to help advise. It's a complicated specialist topic that, to be frank, the person, the smallholder farmer, doesn't need to be a part. It's a community activity. It is something that needs to happen on scale. So think of it as two different resources. Protecting trees is a resource you already have, right? It's about now there's a compliance process that is really protecting the trees. So you have to prove that trees are protected for decades, or you have to replant trees at a large scale, not commercial trees, natural reforestation. So before,
what you cut is what you replant.
You actually have to plant more than was cut, but also you have to look. You have to have one area.
I'm talking about the species of trees that you cut.
Yes.
You have to replace the exact species, and even more.
Yes. Natural biodiversity. Obviously, this is not possible everywhere, but Uganda has
But you
enough
can start
space.
from somewhere.
You can start, and this is, for example, our connection with the Interreligious Council and our partnership with yourselves. That we're working with institutional land, heritage land on a large scale, where we're working with the grassroots communities to plant trees. Our goal is to plant 250 million trees in Uganda alone, in our phase 1. We could 250 million trees.
And this phase 1 begins when and ends when?
Okay. We've already finished our trials, and actually now, on the 18th of December, very, very proud to be part of the IRCU announcement, the Interreligious Council, and we're going to be announcing to the world the plans. Starting next year, we'll be doing large-scale reforestation. We start in the Busoga Kingdom. We have the plots laid out, we have the communities lined up. It's about an education process. Like you said, it's not an answer to be given in a day. It's a process that needs to be taught to the communities. We'll start in the Busoga Kingdom and partially in the Buganda Kingdom, and then we'll expand across all of Uganda and also other countries. We need to teach the communities how this works. We need to create showcases and demonstration farms or reforestation plots. We'll train community leaders what to do. We'll help register these projects. So I'm here, and this is why ambassador is a good word. I'm not here, of course, the first project, someone has to teach, someone has to be an example. The Gro Foundation will be planting millions of trees, hundreds of millions. Maybe we could even achieve 1 billion trees in Uganda alone. But more importantly, what we want to leave behind as a legacy is having taught those communities how to benefit from carbon certificates, from the climate finance. So they will after we have left, they will still be benefiting and have income for years, sustainable income. And that's how you eradicate poverty. Having a reliable source of income that you can then use to invest in your own businesses. That's one. That's
a daily income.
It's a daily income. It's actually annual to be precise, yes, but it's reliable at a community level to participating communities.
So now, tell me about the Gro Foundation championing the planting of 1 billion trees worldwide or globally by 2030. How are you doing that? Championing the planting of 1 billion trees globally by 2030.
Yes.
How are you, doing that, and through which structures?
Yeah. So
because here I know that you're going through the structures of Intelligence Council, now the Pan-African Pyramid. You're going to the refugee camp. But in other countries, how are you doing this, and how feasible is it?
Yes. We're doing
you're championing 1 billion trees by 2030.
Yes.
You want the world to plant 1 billion trees.
Yes.
I want to understand the mechanics and the possibility of doing this.
Okay. I'll start with philosophy. Yeah. We're not doing it because it's easy. It is definitely not easy. We're not even doing it because it always reliably works. It often does not work. Projects fail all the time. And the next day we go up, we learn from our mistakes, and we do it again. We learn and we scale.
Absolutely. A failure, when you fail, it's a lesson, so you're learning.
Exactly. It's only a failure.
So you're not actually failing.
Exactly.
The failure will come if you fail to learn and
exactly. As long as we continue to rise to the occasion and patiently work with grassroots communities to teach with the benefit, and I'll talk about that in a second. That is the key. Teaching them what the benefit is, not to wait for charity anymore, but take control and ownership of your own future, that it is possible at all, is thanks to climate finance. And now we do it because it is the right thing to do. It is the kind thing to do.
You're not doing it because it is easy to do. You're doing it because it is the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people, it's an immense challenge. Now, planting one tree is really, really easy. And if we master to work with grassroots communities, for them to plant one tree, 5 trees, 10 trees, 100 trees, that is simple. It is, you dig a hole, you put in a seedling, you cover it, you add lots of water, and if it gets too dry, you add water. If it gets too wet, you dig a trench. You look after this tree. Now, if we do this,
You actually don't plant, but you grow the tree.
you grow the tree. Now,
Because planting may mean you just put it and go.
exactly.
But growing
You
it
maintain
means-
them. You maintain, and that's why we are called Grow. Now, one tree, we agree. Planting one tree is easy. All we have to do is repeat this really easy process a billion times. That's why we do it as a grassroots level. Now, how do we incentivize communities? That's the real question. Climate finance means that after we've gone through the expense of creating this tree, we now create a reliable source of income because the global markets, the 5 big polluters and others, they pay for these carbon certificates. Which means
Oh,
every year,
They have committed themselves to pay.
yes.
How much are they paying?
So it is estimated that by 2030, the global market is going to be $100 billion US.
The money they will put in
Carbon certificates.
carbon certificates.
Yes.
The 5 countries especially.
They are leading it. It's a global effort.
It's a global effort.
It would be too simplistic to say it's the 5 countries. They're leading it in exchange. Now, a lot of that is politics and policy. I've just come from the Global Climate Conference. Now, but if you think of the mechanism, a community at a grassroots level has planted trees, worked with an organization such as ours, and I will help create any African country, any politician, any government. We're pledged to help them set up a framework and a platform so that they can help their communities do the same. We want to be an example. We can't solve all of Africa, but we can teach all of Africa how to do it themselves and just repeat what we're doing as an example. Now, once the community has done this, they know every year money is coming in. And we do several things with that. We start by funding on day one, not just the reforestation, we fund food and water security projects. We fund rural electrification, just to create facilities and a framework so that this community can breathe easier. We fund schooling for vulnerable children and orphans. We fund skill centers for farming communities, women, youth to learn vocational skills and entrepreneurial skills. And the main thing I want to communicate is, don't wait for help. Don't wait for help. No one is coming. No one is coming. I'm here as a Muzungu, but I'm here with Ugandan roots. And there's not many other people like that, not enough. So we're coming with this help, with this teaching, this knowledge, to take control of this ownership, to build a product that is easy. Plant trees, it is easy. You have to learn the paperwork and the platform for that, we create that. So we create food and water security. With the skills training, we want to enable, specifically, fund entrepreneurial skills and vocational skills. Learn how to make money with something. And then, this is the final step. Climate finance, which is being paid now every year for decades, this is the source of income to fund microfinance for those livelihood projects. Okay. So we're not a charity that says, here's money, we'll build you something. We'll provide funding for the community to say, this is what we want to do. We want to bring pride into the communities. That there is a very clever young man who has a business idea, but he's missing the resources to do so. Climate finance brings up resources. You know the story when I say, I love the story. Everybody knows the story. That ends with, teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. Yes. That is not enough. That is charity. People go to a training with some charitable organization and now the man was taught how to fish. And the next day, he's still hungry. Climate finance and that income for microfinance will buy him a fishing boat, a fishing rod, a fishing net.
And
He
then
can
teach him how to do it.
Yes,
Use them.
the vocational skills. His son or daughter have the vocational skills to turn this fishing into a business. It's not enough to eat. There's no dignity in just eating.
Eat and then
Create a
surplus
business.
yourself.
So create a business from this. The climate finance becomes a source of funding to turn this fisherman into a fishing business with his community. Then give somebody else a truck and a shop to no longer sell at the front. Bring it to market and sell higher. Give somebody else the means to open a restaurant and now sell this. We've already talked about 3 businesses from the same fish. The fisherman who's now fishing at a bigger
Fishing it
scale.
from the lake.
The person with the logistics taking the trucks to market and has a shop. The next person who has a restaurant and is now supplying. And it's the same fish that is now feeding multiple families. It's a chain. Then the next person can maybe industrialize and bring it to scale, with communities. And they can export a brand. Why are you giving away? Again, Africa is rich. You have the fish, you have the timber, you have the mineral resources, but they're always given away. Africans are limited to be the middleman. No. Africa needs to learn how to build products and global brands.
Your argument resonates very well with that of His Excellency the President.
I agree with it.
When he was in Russia, he told them, no, we don't need to bring our raw materials here for manufacturing of goods, and then you bring back at a higher price.
Yes.
We need you to bring your factory here. We have the raw materials.
Yes.
Bring your factories here.
Yes.
You manufacture from here so that even us can buy from here locally.
Yes.
And then the surplus you can now sell.
Yes.
So the rest of your comrades, the rest of your colleagues in Europe have been coming here. If they are not buying, they are extracting and stealing raw materials from Africa, especially in Congo. You know what is happening in Congo here?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's happening all over.
They are stealing at night, going there to manufacture phones, to manufacture watches. Then in the morning, they bring finished products.
Yes.
You took away my raw material at $1,000. You are bringing a product and you want $10,000.
Yes. But let's not talk about the problem. Everybody knows the problem. Everybody knows the problem. Even
So
now,
you're
how
talking
are the
about
practices?
solutions now.
I'm talking about
Practical solutions.
Practical solutions. Starting at the simplest form. So, again, nobody's coming. Who is going to bring the money to build that factory to export the goods? Nobody. It's not in their interest. So let's start simple. It starts by planting a tree. One tree planted, simple process, we'll repeat that tens of millions of times, hundreds of millions of times. Now, this is a product that can only be produced here, that can be sold. And now, African communities have money from the sale of the product, not charity. They have income from this. And now they build the factory. Why are you asking? Why are you asking for somebody to come and build a factory there? Why should he do that? It is not in their interest. They won't give you the charity for it. They won't give you the investment for it. It's the very first thing I said. 1.5% of global investments come to Africa. This includes charitable funding and World Bank grants. Nobody is going to build a factory. Plant a tree, learn how to monetize it, take that money, and then build a factory. It becomes a chain that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm not advocating for industrialization or something complicated. I talked about mineral wealth, but that's a complicated process to get that back. But you can start here. You can start small and simple.
Planting a tree.
Planting a tree. As communities, millions of times. And then have the wealth. And then you don't have to ask for an investor to come and build a factory. Build it yourself. Own it yourself. This is a statement to Africa. Own it. Learn how to own it. And take your time.
This is the Pan-African Pyramid Show right here with my brother Paul Flynn. When I come back, Paul, there's another school of thought.
Yes.
That actually you guys are using this carbon discussion globally to manage Africa. Why? Because some people think that Africa is not one of those that emit a lot of emissions into the world. The countries that emit the highest are the ones coming to Africa to teach us. When we come back, we will respond to that. Be right back.
Join us this Christmas as we bring smiles to Chaka 2 refugees. Pan-African Pyramid is collecting relief items like clothes, foodstuff, Medicare, scholastic materials, sports equipment, and many others to be delivered to Chaka 2 Refugee Settlement Camp on the 19th December 2023. You too can join this noble cause now through donations and partnerships. For pickups, call us on 0783 611 516 and 0702 58 4274. Our chief guest is the United Nations Peace Mission Ambassador Paul, flying from Bulgaria. Powered by NBS Television, Fairway Hotel, Gro Foundation, Satellite Hotel Chisasi, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG. Africa, don't agonize, organize.
Welcome from that break. My name is Andrew Irumba Katseve, your speaker, and this is the Pan-African Pyramid Show. Now, this is the Free Your Mind episode, and my guest tonight now is Ambassador Paul Flynn. Ambassador Paul Flynn is the CEO of Gro Foundation, a social impact organization dedicated to lifting communities out of poverty through environmental conservation. And he's in Kampala, Uganda, specifically he'll be leading us to Chaka 2 refugee settlement on 19th of December, this very month, to go and start on the bigger agenda of planting 550 million trees in Uganda. We are beginning from Chaka 2 refugee settlement on Tuesday next week. Paul, you people from the Western world are teaching us Africa a lot of things about protection of environment, carbon emission, greenhouse emission, and so on. It's like you're telling us that we are the ones in charge of destruction of environment. But you and I know that the 5 top countries that emit the highest emissions in the world, none of them is from Africa. China, America, USA, and UK, and Russia, none of them is African. Mm-hmm. Some people have a school of thought that you are using this environmental activism to colonize Africa. That's what you're saying. You're actually telling us we are coming to invest this so much money in Africa. Climate change. Why are you guys, the very ones who are destroying the environments of the world, are the ones coming to invest money in Africa to protect the environment? Yet African environment is protected already. You have destroyed the environment in your own world. Africa is actually the one now helping you even to have the oxygen that you are having, especially China. Why are you so much putting a lot of emphasis on Africa in terms of reforestation? Yet you, in your own world, there in the Western world, you have destroyed more than us. Answer the question, yes, sir.
Isn't that an amazing opportunity? If you think about everything you said, ignore the complexity, ignore the negativity, ignore history even. This person did this and this person did that.
Remember, we are somewhat suspicious about everything from you because you colonized us.
Yes. Well,
and you came like helpers.
Yes. So, and again, like I said, nobody's coming to help and nobody will apologize. So the secret to inner peace, the secret to peace in the entire world is forgiveness, love, and kindness. It doesn't matter what they messed up. What can we do about it today? Now,
that's why in Pan-African we say, don't agonize, organize.
Organize. Exactly. And that is exactly
don't agonize,
organize.
Yes.
Exactly.
How can we reorganize now?
Yes, remember what I said earlier on. It's not easy. Yeah, it doesn't even always work, but it's the right thing to do. And above all, it is kind.
And you must begin now.
Not
tomorrow.
Exactly. And now, so again, why here? It's also in South Africa, by the way. It's also in South America and Asia. So reforestation is a global topic. It is a global topic. Obviously, everybody's looking at their own backyard and saying it's happening here, but it is a global topic. Now, if you look at a world map, the satellite view, Africa is a green place.
Okay.
The same way the Amazon in Brazil is a green place.
Exactly.
Yep. Germany is not. The tundra in Russia is not. Australia is a desert. You will not.
Now you're
plant.
speaking.
Exactly. So,
So
and
why
again,
the
I
focus
said,
here?
yes, so I said, this is an amazing opportunity. They're not coming here for charity. They're not coming here for grants. They're not coming here to help even. Some are not. Reforestation and climate finance is think of it as a product that the Western world needs and is willing to pay for. Ignore everything else. It's a product that they will pay for. That's it. And it's a product that can be built at the base level very simply. You plant a tree and you repeat that simple step
1,000 times.
millions of times, like I said. And then there's paperwork and compliance and all these things. You do need specialists and lawyers. Let's get there. So you create a carbon certificate. But at the heart, it's reforestation and conservation. Now, where can you rightfully be suspicious? I keep saying Africa is rich. Africa has mineral wealth. What happened? The rights to drilling for that mineral wealth was sold abroad. You have timber, you have fruit, you export all kinds of, from cotton to everything, you export. You sell the rights abroad. You find oil, you find gold, you sell the rights abroad.
That's why
it is
coffee is planted in Africa, the price is set.
Yes.
In
smallhold farmers
Germany.
create coffee beans or tea leaves. They sell it for peanuts, and then they buy a very expensive coffee from a barista with a brand. What I'm saying is Africa needs to learn to create brands. We will not solve it overnight, but reforestation and climate finance is an opportunity to use a simple process to create a valuable product, a commodity in fact, that people will pay for. After you've done this process, and the Gro Foundation is dedicated to teach every African country how to do this. I will do this for free. Actually, $1, legally a contract has to be $1. Yeah?
Okay.
Now, we'll help create platforms. Yeah? We will help create platforms. And now, after you've created a simple product with a guaranteed demand, now you have an income. So it's the opposite. It's as if you find gold and you don't sell it. You create the mining company. You don't sell cotton. You create textiles manufacturing and sell a textiles brand. In this case, a simple product, carbon finance. You have money now. And now, like you said before, asking for a manufacturer to come here, as the president said, you want manufacturing to be here. The manufacturing is not going to come. It will not. Why should they? Why do people, after decades, people are expecting, I keep hearing in meetings, we could do so many things, but we're waiting for the grant. We're waiting for the charity. Why? Or rather, you have to stop waiting. Climate finance, I'm repeating myself on purpose. You plant a tree, you do the paperwork, you repeat that millions of times, now you have income. What do you do with this income? With this income that is earned reliably every year, with this income, that's what you build a business. You reinvest it into your communities. And that's exactly what we said. We start with food security, water security, rural electrification. That gives people time to breathe. You're not worried about tomorrow. Then it's education. Vulnerable children, youth, women, the men, they have to learn vocational skills and entrepreneurial skills. Africa needs to learn to think like the West. It's successful or not. They have to learn to think like, and then after they know the business, now the question is, how do we pay for this business? The trees will pay for that business because climate finance will get you income from abroad. And now you don't ask for money to build a factory. You have earned the money to build a factory. And now step by step, you expand. Take control. Don't sell mangoes. Sell mango juice. Sell mango yogurt. Start processing the fish and have a cooling chain to export it. Start creating textiles brands. There's so much beauty and art and talent across all of Africa.
I love what you're saying. When you're saying it, it's like you're saying it's just possible. In a minute, you guys, you are telling us here to not to sell mangoes but sell juice. you have in a way colonized the mindset and the means of how we can do that, because when you start doing it, they will in a way make sure that you fail to do it.
Yes.
That's why you see Uganda has been wanting to exploit its own oil there, and there have been a lot of conditions put up by their own people that you come from. They make the process of extracting our own oil extremely complicated that only them have a solution. So even here, I'm sure we all have the brains to extract juice from the mango, but I think you make it extremely bit hard to enable us to do that. How are we sure, and how can we guarantee that we will be able to move the process of ensuring that we benefit from this tree planting exercise? How do we?
Yes. Okay.
Because
It is simple. Wait.
On paper, you can tell us it's very easy. We plant the trees. After the trees have now become a product that you need, now you put on conditions that will not enable me to continue benefiting from the tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this is again why you also mentioned oil. Oil and minerals, all these things are complicated. So, nowhere else in the world is it possible to plant billions of trees. You can only plant them here. They're yours. Now, Zambia made a terrible mistake. Mr. President of Zambia, if you're listening, call me.
Hey,
Yes?
he made a mistake.
Yes.
Which one is that?
They made a deal as a government to sell the land to investors on the premise that they will then plant trees. Why sell the land? Why not make a deal? It's the same
Where
as
those
selling.
investors coming
It's
from?
the same. It's a detail, and it's not even finalized. Maybe it'll change. My point is, it's exactly what you said. Oh, it's complicated to get to oil. Yeah, this is apologist. Only think of the opportunity. If somebody says in the future, so number one, first you need to create bargaining power, and that bargaining power is wealth. And as I keep saying, it doesn't matter what the past is. You cannot change the past. Yes, Africa over the last 100 years or more has been dealt a bad hand. Okay, but if you look at China, they went through a terrible 200 years, and now they've been rising. Look at the Middle East. Look at a place like Dubai. They were literally the desert, and now the UAE.
Actually, Uganda used to feed the parts of
Export.
of UAE.
Yes, but they were selling fruit.
Yeah.
They were selling mangoes, not mango juice. It was processed over there. So the first thing is bright now, but the UAE went from being the desert. They now have a space program. India now has a space program. What has happened to India and China and the Middle East can happen in Africa. It takes patience, time, and trust. Like I said, it's not easy. But the first thing that needs to happen is accepting the blame, repeating the blame. Oh, all these things were taken from us. We've been cheated before in the past. How can this work before? It's a product. There are such things as
We've been
contracts.
colonized for years.
It doesn't matter what's happened
but many
before.
people have been
Let me tell you
colonized.
something. History is beautiful. History is beautiful. Uganda specifically colonized the earth. Uganda colonized the earth. Humans are from here. Ugandans went out and conquered the world. Then it was somebody else's turn. The Egyptians. They went out. They dominated the world. Where are they today? Then the Italians, the Romans, they went out and colonized the world. Yeah. Then Portugal colonized the world. Then China, well, they stayed in their region.
It's
they
their
went
time now.
big and then out. Yes, and then
their time.
right now we happen to live in the American century. Things change. Just give it time. If you look at a history book, what is 100 or 200 years in a history book? But you need to start today.
It's like yesterday.
Yes, and now you have to say, you have to dust off. There's been a bad time. You have to realize the strength and the resilience of the youth, the potential of the youth, and recognize an opportunity when it is there. So don't tell me, in the past they cheated us, everything was taken away. If I say all you have to do is plant that tree and learn how to do the paperwork, it's not extracting oil, it's not something complicated.
No.
This is an opportunity that was given as something simple.
And it's an
This
opportunity
is
for
a
generations
gift
of years.
For generations. It's a gift. It is a gift to create wealth, Small wealth at first, but reliable wealth. And with this reliable wealth, the communities also need to learn to trust each other. All this distrust of the decades where people were fighting over scraps, that needs to end. We need to forgive the past. The past won't change. Borders won't change.
Forgive those who colonized us.
Forgive everybody.
And we use them
Forgive
to
the
develop.
neighbors. Like you said, there's refugee camps where people speak 9 different languages. They won't go home. They won't. Where? You have to live with what is happening today. And again, it's that simple. And I repeat it again. You plant 1 tree.
Repeat it millions of times.
And you repeat it, not you, as communities.
Yes.
Yeah, one person can't do it.
No, I'm talking about communities.
Yes, communities coming together can plant millions of trees easily even. Easily. Now, and again, so don't wait. This is taking ownership. Because we have been colonized. Things have been taken away. That was yesterday. And it is still true today. It is true today. But this sentence, bear with me. It is true today, but it does not have to be true tomorrow.
Okay.
And this is one of the big things we're going to bring. Here's an opportunity to start small, to build something valuable, to earn reliable income that can then be used. And it's a product. You can't steal. You say, what happens if it's stolen? It's produced here. It's registered here. You can't steal Starbucks. You can't steal Microsoft. You can't steal a certificate. It's a registered brand that was created somewhere. You can steal an iPhone, but you cannot steal Apple. Contracts exist. This is how the world works. And this is another thing that needs to be learned here, where people need to start working at creating a product that is paid for in the global market. You're creating, as I say, think globally, but act locally. Reforestation locally is creating value locally that is sold on a global market with global demand, with growing global demand. So don't complain that they broke it and now they're coming here to fix it. Be grateful. It's an opportunity. And so far, Africa has always missed opportunities. So far, Africa sold the opportunity. This is because it's a simple opportunity. It is something that can be used.
There is that chance to reclaim our opportunity.
Exactly.
This is the chance.
It's a chance to reclaim an opportunity and then build it. So when somebody comes and says, we want to do X, Y, Z, say no. If they say you can't extract the oil with your own processes, say, okay, no problem. We will not extract the oil until we have learned. Now again, oil is a complicated business, so I will leave that stand. That is something for other people to solve.
For another day.
But trees, you know how to plant trees. The paperwork, we will train people. Like I said, our goal, and we will be planting millions of trees. Our goal is to be an example and to teach, to create and to leave behind a platform where other people and organizations can repeat this process. Because Africa and the world needs billions and billions of trees. Remember, the world right now is losing 10 billion trees a year.
You're cutting 15 billions, you're only planting 5.
Exactly.
That's the point I got from you first time.
Exactly.
Mr. Paul, we are 54 African countries. In how many countries is Grow Africa right now existing and doing this project?
Okay. As I said, I'm part of the Ugandan diaspora.
Yes.
So I had to start in Uganda.
Yes.
So we are active in Uganda and Kenya, very active. This is where the pilot projects are.
Okay.
We're already reached out and are setting the roots, setting the seed, planting the seed, to stay in the terminology. In Tanzania, we went across all of East Africa, Somalia. We're also talking already to Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the Ivory Coast. So we want to make this a Pan-African project. Agenda. It's a Pan-African opportunity, and everybody needs to learn this.
Thank you so much. Now, let's talk about also adaptability of the project in the Pan-African context. How are countries and individuals responding to this interesting project?
Yes, that's a good question.
Are people and governments of these African countries really responding positively? Are they understanding the science? Are they understanding the opportunities that this comes with? Climate finance.
Yes and no. Climate finance, carbon certificates are a massive topic everywhere. But nobody really understands it yet. But again, this is an opportunity because the market is still many years from maturing. It is literally at COP28, the Global Climate Conference, there's been massive debates of how to move forward, how to codify things. They just launched the Global Integrity Council. All these things are complicated things. It's an opportunity. We're still very early. The process was already created decades ago. Carbon certificates, carbon markets have been traded since 2017 at a larger scale. But this market is old. It's old, but also young. It's still opportunity to learn for everybody. So there's still opportunity to start. Again, to build the brands here, to learn these processes, to export them.
Thank you. So now, as we wrap up, how when you look at other countries where you are launching or beginning to exist, how do you rate the Ugandan response when it comes to reforestation?
Yes.
You already told us how many trees we lose as Uganda.
Yeah.
But now, what is the response like here?
Okay. Uganda, I have to applaud the Ministry for Water and Environment, which is responsible for reforestation. I have to applaud community mobilizing organizations like the Interreligious Council. I have to applaud the kingdoms that are here. There are many existing structures that have the benefit of the people at their heart. So we're very lucky. There's some very key leaders in the relevant ministries that are supporting this project. So there's very, very fruitful ground. At the same time, it's a massive learning journey. Creating the standards, creating the resources, creating and training the local talent that's there. One leading organization is the Youth Coalition, for example. Led by a gentleman named Lavan Joshua. He's mobilizing. The goal there is to mobilize 1 million youth and train them how to create that impact. Organizations such as yourselves, which is bringing communities together at a pan-African level. That is important. And this is a process that needs to be set and learned and then repeated. So yes, the doors are open, but it's still a massive learning journey.
Thank you. Mr. Paul, it's been nice meeting you.
Same here. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, climate financing, I think it's a concept that is simply beginning to manifest in an African context. And the adaptability now depends on how fast you can understand the concept. But from the world of things, I think Africa needs this as urgent as yesterday. My name is Andrew Irumba Katsabe, your speaker, and I've been meeting Mr. Paul Friend from Germany.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you very, very much.
Join us this Christmas as we bring smiles to Chaka 2 refugees. Pan-African Pyramid is collecting relief items like clothes, foodstuff, Medicare, scholastic materials, sports equipment, and many others to be delivered to Chaka 2 refugee settlement camp on the 19th December 2023. You too can join this noble cause now through donations and partnerships. For pickups, call us on 0783 611 516 and 0702 58 4274. Our chief guest is the United Nations Peace Mission Ambassador Paul Friend from Bulgaria. Powered by NBS Television, Fairway Hotel, Gro Foundation, Satellite Hotel Chisasi, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG. Africa, don't agonize, organize.